The topics and opinions expressed on the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4WN Radio.
Hi, and welcome to Chasing Purpose. I'm your host, Kathleen Conner. If this is your first time here today, I'm really glad you found your way in, and I hope you stay a while. If you've been here before, you know what it's like, and I welcome you back. So today we're going to talk about the middle, the stuck, the loop. And I like to call the stuck part stuck in the muck. That's what I call it. It's not the obvious freeze in fear moment and when things are chaotic and are about to erupt or have erupted. It's not when things are falling apart. It's when you know what to do, but you're still not doing it. It's the quieter kind of stuck, the exhaustive, soul-crushing kind of stuck. It's where you know exactly what's wrong and you know exactly what needs to change. And you're still choosing the middle, the loop, the stuck. Now, like me, I'm sure you've read all the books. You've listened, obviously, to all the podcasts. You've done all the therapy and you maybe even journaled. I know, like me, you've done the work and you know what needs to be done. And you're still here, stuck in that place of going absolutely nowhere. And that place can somehow feel safe, but it doesn't fulfill us. And it doesn't mean we have to try hard enough. It means that we want to be enough, yet we're not feeling enough. It's the loop. So let me help you with a picture, a visual. It's a hamster. Picture that little hamster. Maybe we all had one as kids. I didn't. I wasn't fortunate enough to have one. We had other things. He's on his wheel. He jumps on it every day. He starts pacing and starts racing on that wheel. And he feels like it's activity. The wheel is running, his heart is racing, and his little legs are moving. And he's going about his day just like we do. We jump into our loops, into the middle. We start our day the same way, same routine, same patterns, same energy. And as you can see, picturing the hamster, he is moving just like we are. We're just not going anywhere. And that's the stuck. That's the loop. That's the middle. And when you're stuck in the middle, it's because the loop just goes round and around. And to be honest, the loop in the middle and the stuck, that's where momentum goes to die. And if you're listening right now and you're thinking, I know what I need to do. I've been here so long. I know what has to happen. I just can't seem to do it. This episode is for you. So let's get going. Here's what no one tells you about being stuck. Stuck is not a location, although it can feel like one. Stuck is the loop, the feeling, the energy. It's having the same thoughts over and over again. It's the same conversations that you're maybe not having, the same boundaries you certainly aren't setting, and the same decisions that you're not making. You're doing things over and over again. And you're just waiting for the right time. But the right time never comes. You know the loop I'm talking about. You know the middle. You know what stuck in the muck really feels like. It's the should I leave the job? It's I've been here many years, maybe too many years, but I just don't feel passionate about it. I'm not challenged with my day-to-day task or where I'm heading in a career, but yet I can't seem to change. Because change feels scary and it means I have to set a boundary and I have to trust my own instincts. And self-trust in the muck, in the stuck, and in the middle can feel daunting. Every time you loop back, you lose a little bit more of your self-trust. not because you think you're failing, not because you're not feeling. It's because you're feeling, of course. You're just stuck. You're stuck in the pattern that knowing and knowing that better is not necessarily doing better. Those are two different things. We often try to wait for the right decision instead of making the decision right for us. The middle is not the beginning. At the beginning, there's excitement, there's feeling hopeful, there's being motivated. We believe in the change we're doing and that we believe that change is possible. The middle is not the end either. The end is either you've made the change and you're working with what happened after the change, or you've made peace with staying. The middle is that place that you're aware enough is to know something is wrong, but not feeling that it's enough to do anything about it. The middle is what I like to call comfortable complacency. Now, you've heard that right. Those two words should not be together, complacency and comfortable. Comfortable complacency. There is nothing comfortable about complacency. Sure, you're managing your life, you're coping with the day-to-day task, and you're getting by, maybe just barely getting by. And it's that just barely that's just comfortable enough. It's keeping you stuck. And that's what the middle actually feels like. That's what it is. It's the middle of the job that you know you should leave, that you've been there too long. It's not passionate or challenging. It's the culture is toxic and the relationships within it are non-existent. And you know, every week you say, I should update my resume. I should look to see what else is out there. I should network and see what I can find. You say that every week, and every week you don't. You don't update your resume, you don't reach out, and you continue to go to the same job that you found unfulfilling. It's because everything feels okay and fine. Now, we do it in our relationships too, right? Our relationships can feel like we're present in the environment, presence with sitting on with somebody on the couch, with sharing a meal, with enjoying a TV show. Presence doesn't mean love. It doesn't mean that we're finding the desire that we actually want. It means that we're maybe not happy, or we're satisfied, but we're not feeling satisfaction. Those are two different things. Let me say that again. We're satisfied, yet we don't feel satisfaction. So, sure, we're happy and maybe we're making other people happy, but there's no joy, there's no passion, there's no curiosity or intimacy. We're roommates, not partners. We're maybe co-parenting, we're coexisting, we're not connecting, we're having things in common. And those are things that are important. It's important to have commonalities and things we enjoy to do together. The food, the restaurants, the places we go, the chores we do, the errands we want run. It's okay to find common things to join together, but if they don't create connection, deep connection, then that's all they are. It's just common. They're surface, they're shallow, and maybe even hollow. They're not what brings a relationship to the next level or to the level you're looking for. It's you living together but completely separate. And just because you know where your partner lives, that doesn't mean that you know where their heart, head, and soul reside. And just because you feel at one point that you chose that environment, you chose the furniture, you painted the walls, you made the memories there. But through the years and through the time, you've grown. And now you realize, and that realization is that you've grown, but perhaps no one else or nothing else around you has. And that's a tough realization, knowing and wanting more and not having it around you to bring you more or to have more with. So it's that commonality versus connection. Connection is the reset and the resolved without keeping score. It's the being honest through vulnerability. It's feeling safe with someone. It's feeling that you can be yourself and get to the core and into your heart's meaning. That's what we're seeking. And when we are in the middle and we're stuck, it feels like we have a big weighted shield on us. We talk about our duties, our responsibilities, our obligations, and our tasks, our chores. And we talk about them with honor and our obligations, but we wear them like a heavy shield. And that honor and that shield can be worn so heavily over our heart that we don't necessarily hear our own heartbeat, let alone feel and hear our heart's desires. And that's what's so odd and so hard about the middle, is that we know and feel that we want and are something different than what we're living. And so we tend to just stay fine. And we use the term fine to define ourselves. We say, I'm fine, the house is fine, the kids are fine, the marriage is fine, the job is fine. We use the word fine like it's an emotion, like it's a good and heavy and an expressive enough emotion. And I feel as though fine isn't an emotion. Fine to me is the most overused and misrepresented word we ever say. Really, fine to me is not an emotion at all and shouldn't be a description. I don't want to be known as fine. Fine is shallow, hollow, and surface. Fine isn't something I want to describe for myself, let alone my kids, my marriage, or relationships. And fine to me is really an acronym. So think about it. FINE, fine. Feelings I never express. That's what's fine. Whenever I hear it, and I hear it often, and you'll hear it often now that I brought it to your attention, in the grocery store, in the elevator, in the hallways, everywhere you go, people say fine. I'm fine. Work is fine. Life is fine. Everything is fucking fine. It's not fine. That's such a cop out, in my opinion, and nothing is fine. So it's not that the middle is bad. The middle is just a place that we need to reset ourselves. It's a place where we have to define what we want, and being something to someone, whether it's our job and being that employee to the boss, or being that father to our children, or mother to our children, or spouse to our partner. It's doing it in a different way. It's doing it in a way where we feel fulfilled, where we can find joy and find passion. It's not ignoring the people that are around you. It's not ignoring them or displacing their feelings. It's just putting your feelings in there too. It's keeping the hope that things will rise above and that you can connect and have that connection versus that commonality. It's not when your life mostly works. It's not when routines are there and calendars make sense and logistics get handled. And you describe the people around you, often all of us do, as they're nice and they're good people. And that in the middle, nothing really feels broken. It just feels that heavy weight again. It's that shield we carry around with us. We wake up with a heavy feeling of our day. We are tired, even after a good night's sleep. We go to work, the feeling of heaviness is there again. We go to lunch, it's there. Middle of the day, we're tired, we're exhausted. It's that feeling of heaviness, of lack of passion, joy, and fulfillment. We get home from work and we're tired. We're tired all the time. And it's not because we're physically exhausted. We can be. Physical exhaustion can happen. It's the relational exhaustion that we're carrying that's so heavy. It's trying to please everyone without pleasing ourselves. And happiness is there, moments of it exist, but happiness, again, doesn't bring or guarantee satisfaction. The days move smoothly. You're doing your tasks, you're running your errands, you're completing your chores, but you're doing it all on autopilot, not with spirit. And your soul, it's uninhabited, and your heart is unfulfilled. The environment you're living in is one of comfort. It's used to fit you. It was one you chose. It was an environment that you were proud of and you felt safe in. And it's one you created. You updated the furniture, and like I said, you painted the walls, but you've grown and you've changed. And the environment still is there. You just don't fit in it anymore. It's like you can get your mail in your mailbox and everything can be perfect. But if you don't feel like it's a home, like it's your home, then it just doesn't feel right. The environment feels too heavy. And when it's too heavy, you begin to suffocate. You're exhausted, carrying everybody's weight and your own. The weight of boredom, of stagnation, of stuck, of the middle, of the loop. And your growth is huge, and you have to, and you should acknowledge it. And you're realizing that just because you've grown, you're noticing that maybe someone else or other people or other things around you haven't. They've stayed exactly the same. They didn't change. And the environment you've outgrown. And it starts with kind of, we say the term elephant in the room. And long before anybody calls it a name, we get comfortable with that elephant. We feel as though it's part of our family, part of the room, right? Everybody identifies with it. Living with the elephant is, if you live with it long enough, your reactions stop. Your life gets organized around it. Your routines and your rhythms and conversations are built in a way to avoid dealing with the elephant in the room. It just becomes bigger and bigger. And so we walk around the room trying to avoid bumping into it. And everyone knows it's there. You just don't want to acknowledge it. So we live with the elephant. And sometimes we live with it so long and we get so comfortable with it, we throw a rug over it and we walk around it and place our furniture around it and we build our lives around it. We create our routines around the elephant and we even decorate it. We throw a rug over it and call it decor. And that's not how we should live, with something in the room that's taking away our space, our environment, making it uncomfortable, where we can't move freely and feel freely. And what we have to realize is that as humans, we adapt. We adapt remarkably well. And we adapt so well to discomfort that we just get used to it. It arrives slowly enough, and we will feel and choose discomfort over pain every time. It's the unknown that scares us. And we know the devil we know because we live with him every day. We live with ourselves and not feeling the joy. We tell ourselves and we tell everyone around us that we're fine and we're adapting. These feelings and this lack of is our stuck in the muck and the stagnation, where everything is fine. You're fine. Everyone is fine. Work is fine. Family's fine. Kids are fine. We define everything as fine, and nothing is fine. Nothing. And quite frankly, fine should never be part of our vocabulary when we're defining something so deep as our loved ones or our job, if we love it. So what we need to do is to figure out a way to identify the middle, the stuck, the heaviness around it, and realize what we do want. And it's okay to have the feelings of wanting better or more for ourselves. And when we do that, our emotional expansion grows strong and our growth reshapes us. Our vision becomes heightened and our hearing becomes more acute. And our questions, our daily questions, become more evolved and our tolerances shift. And what we once felt as sufficient and enough begins to feel not enough. And we need to revisit how we get back the feeling of enough and how we get back to the feeling of joy and how we can live in an environment where connection is an everyday achievement, not just a goal that we never achieve. It's a house that we're welcomed and feel welcomed into. It's a house that we can be vulnerable enough, a house within ourselves. I don't mean the building, but a house that we can feel vulnerable enough to speak our piece. Because living in stuck in the middle, in the loop, it's stagnation. And stagnation comes from repetition, not growth. And it may be just by being on that loop like the hamster, right? Things, having the same conversations, having the same surface level discussions about the kids, about the day, about the errands, about the weekend, checking off a box, making lists, doing our chores, finishing our task. It's the polite engagement. It's the keeping things pleasant and moving forward without touching anything that's real and allowing and wanting to be real for ourselves and be real for our environment, for our kids and our partners and our loved ones and our neighborhoods. It's about that feeling of wholeness. And what we're doing by staying stuck and by living in the loop again, think of the hamster on that circle, running, is that we're focusing on the movement, on the loop, the progression. Shunk, chunk, shunk, chunk, shunk, chunk. I keep hearing that in my head as I picture the hamster for some reason. And it's the loop that allows us to miss access to our depth. It's by keeping ourselves busy with tasks and by staying surface level and by acknowledging our growth, and more importantly, acknowledging someone else's limitations and not wanting to act on your growth and to be okay with knowing better is better and you want better. And it's being physically present with someone every single day and not feeling miles apart for them. It's not just sharing a room with somebody or a table or a meal. It's sharing your life and your heart and your fears and your vulnerability and your goals and your passions with them. It's about the connection. I had a woman years ago in my life who was a dear woman. She was an elder woman who I met at a women's retreat. I loved her, Betty, and she was a second mother to me. She was spiritual yet grounded. She was passionate yet logical. And she was full of life at a very informative time in my life. And she said to me, which was my aha moment, she said, Kathleen, in life, you don't want to find a soulmate. She said, and laughed, that word. She said, so trendy. But Kathleen, you don't want to find a soulmate. What you want to find is a mate whose soul you can touch. And I thought that's exactly what I want. I want somebody, and we all should want somebody, whose soul we can touch. And when we have it, that feeling is so powerful. We know what it's like. All of us know what it's like to not only touch someone's soul that we love, but allow someone we love to touch our soul. It is so powerful. So that's what we should strive for, is that It's the truth that we can be vulnerable enough with ourselves and have enough self-trust to know that it's okay to know that better is better and to want better and to strive for better and achieve better and to go for that soul's touch and allow it in our soul. Because the cost of not having it, that's the stuck, that's the middle, that's the heaviness, that's the shield that we carry. And the shield is important. It's an important metaphor. If you think about it as we're wearing it on our chest and how heavy it is, I often think about it also. Here's another metaphor about a wheelbarrow, right? We can only push a wheelbarrow full of whatever amount of weight for so long, right? It gets tiring, it's exhausting. We have to put it down. And we have to sometimes walk away from that wheelbarrow because it doesn't serve us, right? And that could be the job, that it doesn't serve us anymore. And it's important to know and acknowledge that things don't serve us, not because they're wrong or they're bad or we're wrong or bad. It's because we've grown and we want to embrace that growth and certainly not diminish it. We've probably worked hard for it and done a lot of self work and a lot of self care and awareness to achieve it. So we don't want to just put it away. That would be costly and it would cost us energy. The middle can be exhausting. And it's not because we're not doing things. In the middle, we're still functioning. Again, picture the hamster running. He's still moving. Every day he hops on that loop. Maybe every once in a while he changes directions. Not often, I think. I'd have to do research on that. But I think the hamster just runs. And he is doing stuff, just like we are doing stuff. We make our lists. We check them off. We do our chores. We see our family and our friends. We act and do and perform. And what we need to do is to realize that performance and performative behavior isn't what brings us passion and joy. What brings us passion and joy is the self-trust that we can do this. We can be vulnerable enough with ourselves. And it's okay to continue to grow and to wake up thinking about it and to think about people and choices and environment that we put ourselves into that we can grow and grow with and encourage other people to grow with us. That's really important too. We encourage our kids to be better children than we were, to behave differently, to act differently, to perform differently. Sorry to use that term, but that's what we do. We want to give them more than we had, and we want to do it in a loving and nurturing way. And we need to combine our mental, physical, and emotional energy and to build courage and prepare ourselves and to get to the moment where we know what to do and use all of our energy in a healthy and positive and productive way and not completely waste it, because wasting it, time and energy, we never get those back. We never get back our time. We can always make excuses. I don't have time. I'm tired. When this happens, when that happens, when the kids are out of school, when vacation starts, when the new year happens, I'll go to the gym. All kinds of things. We tend to use a calendar to set our dates, our life, our schedules. And what we forget about is when we miss those dates and times, when we miss those calendar events, it still passes us by. We still feel as though we have another chance. And we do, but we can't keep circling in the loop and in the middle and in the stuck without checking that calendar and putting a date on it and saying, on June 1st, I'm going to do this, and prepare ourselves and know that when that date comes, progress is going to happen. I'm going to prepare for it. I'm going to live in the moment and I'm going to do the things I have to do so that time and energy don't pass me by this time, because you can't restore those things. You can rebuild that trust. You can, maybe build back some energy, but not to the level. You certainly can't make time reappear. We aren't getting younger. We aren't going back in time. Time and the days you spent on the job you hate, in the relationship that doesn't work anymore, in an environment you've outgrown, and in a boundary you haven't set, are days and time that you've lost forever. You're never going to get them back. Time doesn't wait for you to get comfortable. It doesn't force you to change through comfort. It doesn't. It'll stay stuck through comfortable complacency. It'll move and tick. It's the tick tock of time that goes by, and we can try to silence it through activity and tasks and chores and busy work and obligations and other people's jobs and to-do lists and feelings that they want us to take care of because they don't know how to take care of themselves. And we can try to do all those things and maybe accomplish a lot of them, but time still passes us by. And people often say, well, I'm not getting any younger. And if I would have done this, when I was a younger age, or when I had more energy, or when, life was simpler. Well, we are where we are today. We're never going to be younger than we are today. Time is passing us by, and life is short, and time is so valuable. And yet we don't recognize how easily we watch it tick-tock by us. When we're unhappy, when we're stuck, when we're making other people happy, and when we know that enough isn't enough, when we don't feel any joy or passion, when we just feel comfortable complacency. Time still moves when we make excuses to wait a little bit more, wait for some kind of event. It costs us. Time costs us, and sitting in the stuck costs us the relationships, the people who love us, that see what we don't and what we don't want to see. They see more. People around us see more within our lives by our moods and our being stuck than we want to admit. They see that we're unhappy. They see that we're stuck. They see that we're suffering in silence. And they will certainly watch us and support us going through these things and want to help, but we can't take their help or grasp onto it and hold onto their hand if we don't want to. And so again, time just passes us by. We use the same excuses that we're too old, or it's too late, or life is too hard or too difficult, or things have to happen the way that it is, and life is what it is, and everything is fine. I'm fine. The house is fine. The kids are fine. The marriage is fine. Really, listen. I tell you, folks, listen, because you will hear the word fine without a doubt more times than you've ever thought you heard. You just weren't listening for it. And when you hear it, and when I hear someone walk by me and I say, hey, how's your day? And they say, fine. I say, oh, what a shame. What a missed opportunity to feel something deeper, to know something deeper is not fine. That why were we settling? Why are we letting ourselves be in the stuck, in the middle, in the loop, and not wanting more than fine? People around us tend to watch us, and they tend to maybe walk on eggshells around us because they don't know how to help, or they don't know how to behave around us, or we don't know how to behave around them, and we're walking on eggshells. So, people eventually stop waiting. They eventually stop asking, because it's not that they don't care. It's because watching someone you love be stuck is painful. They see the answer that you won't choose. They see the life that you won't claim, the job you don't want, the change you can't hold on to, the freedom you need but won't take. And there's nothing they can do for you. They can't physically move you or emotionally move you. They just will be there to support you and watch time go by because they don't want to leave. They want to support you and they want to love you through everything you're going through. But eventually, they'll stop, they'll watch, and they'll realize that their time is going by and that they can't force anything upon you. And they may let you be, not because they don't love you, but because they realize that you're not letting them in, that you're okay with time passing and they're not. And when you often stay stuck, or we stay stuck, I should say it that way, it can affect us in a lot of ways. It can affect our health, and it does present itself. Even if we deny it, it can present us in stress, in tension, in headaches, in insomnia, and carrying the weight of that shield or the weight of our lives every single day. It can affect us. It can show up as stress eating, as not being able to lose the weight we need to lose. It can show up in healthy lifestyle choices, in our immune system that just starts failing us. We feel chronic stress and we project it and feel it in different ways. It'll show up with digestive issues and with muscle tension and joint pain, the exhaustion we feel even though we get a good night's sleep. And our body doesn't want to keep score, but it is. Because you're pretending everything's fine doesn't mean that it is. And what you don't realize until maybe it's too late, that you can't outrun your body's response to prolonged stress. Can't do it. It'll catch up with you every time. You can't win that race. Stress will catch up with you. It feels like it's manageable at times, but physically and emotionally and mentally, it's gonna come out. It's gonna affect you. It's gonna cost you something. Your health, your future, your lifestyle, your lifespan. And the real cost is again that time and that middle. It's it's where momentum, like I said, goes to die. It's that middle pause, that slow leak, the quiet erosion, and the incremental loss of ourselves. It's the realization that we built this life at one time for us and for others that we loved, but it's not working for us anymore. We have a beautiful house for sure. It looks great from the outside. It's the lawn is well manicured, the house is well tended to, it's well maintained and maybe freshly painted. But on the inside, things could be lurking. That elephant in the room could be doing more damage, and you know it, and it could be creating a lot more havoc inside unless you acknowledge it and take care of it. I always say that a house can look perfect from the outside, yet black mold can be growing within its walls, beneath the surface. No one ever sees it. But eventually, symptoms and feelings and environments cause us to see it, to know it, and to do something about it. So the middle in those situations can be expensive. It can cost you a lot to stay stuck and stuck in the muck. I often say stuck in the muck is like feeling like we're walking uphill in molasses with cement shoes. It's hard. It's hard work to get out of the middle, to get out of the muck. It wants to hold on to us and grip us because it's the known. It's what we're comfortable with. It's the familiar. It's the devil we know. And why would we choose anything but comfort and familiarity? It's a pattern that we've been around a long time. It feels safe, but it doesn't make us safe. It actually may do the opposite. So, what we're doing is that we're willing to stay stuck and not move. And it's not serving us. It's when we need to take responsibility and acknowledge if we want to stay, that's fine. But we need to find the connection and the community and the feelings of joy and passion and intimacy and connection wherever we are. And we find it with ourselves first through self love and self understanding and being vulnerable enough to ask for it and being okay enough to not be judged by it. And it's easier often for us to say, I'm fine, stuck, middle, whatever we choose in that word, than say, I'm choosing something different. I'm choosing to want more, to want better. And you're not avoiding or choosing drama. You're leaving a job and updating your resume and interviewing and starting over again because you want something different. You want to change within your environment, within your household, within your relationships. You want to be a better friend, better partner, better father, better mother, better communicator. You want to do more things with people you connect with. You want to find connection over commonalities. We can all like to have a pizza on a Friday night, but if you're doing it with someone you don't feel connected with, it often gives us a bellyache and it doesn't sit right. And we shouldn't seek other people's approval. We tend to try to take responsibilities for other people's feelings. We tend to light ourselves on fire to keep other people warm. We tend to shield their emotions and their growth by staying stagnant. And sure, growth and change can be uncomfortable, it can be unknown, but the only way to grow is through change and through changing our mindset, our views on the world, our views within ourselves, what we want. And I know all of us, even myself, we want to be liked. It's important to be seen as good and we want people's approval, but you don't stay for those reasons. You don't stay because you want to satisfy everyone else. And you want to make sure that your being liked doesn't keep you small. You need to not know that your sacrifices don't have to diminish your truth, that you can maintain their approval and still achieve everything you need to for yourself. You can still feel connected without everyone's approval first. They eventually will get there. They will not understand your choices, not understand your changes, your growth. They will look at you differently. They will wonder what's going on. They may even write it off to a midlife crisis, which is silly in itself. It's growth. It has nothing to do with a midlife crisis or with wanting anything other than things for ourselves. It's that they and you will know that truth is supportive and it's not from performance, and that the vision of you being satisfied and stimulated in all areas of your life, the intellectual stimulation, the mental stimulation, the physical stimulation, the sexual and partner stimulation, all of those are important. And if we're lucky enough to get them and to achieve them, man, that is what we should strive for, because there's no feeling like that than to have all of our passion and all of our understanding and all of our vulnerability be seen, felt, and heard. And we don't need to live on the expectations that we have to protect the familiar and that change is uncomfortable. We have to be good, that change is even necessary, and that our brain and bodies care that something is good for us. And that certainly we want to acknowledge the familiar, but we don't have to stay there. We don't have to stay in the unfamiliar. We can change, and other people will change with us too. Other environments, our work environment, we can go into work and put on a different playlist, have a different attitude, switch our mindset, and people will follow. People will say, what is getting into them? And they will follow. Just like misery loves company, well, I can tell you, high energy loves it too. And the higher and more positive and more fulfilled you are with your life, with joy and love and peace, satisfaction, the more people will want some of that too. It's contagious. Positivity and positive attitude and positive outlook and mindset is contagious. And you're worth it. And so are the people around you. They're worth it too. I was given parenting advice when I was pregnant by someone who teaches love and logic. You may all know the classes. And this person was a friend of mine. And he was part of an environment that I was involved with. And he gave me again an aha moment about parenting. I said, what is one of the most important things you can do as a parent to influence your children? And I was surprised by what he said. He said, not big, hard things to do. He said, every day when your child wakes up, the first thing and how you greet them sets their pace and their place in the world. So every day when they come to you or you go to them, and the first thing you see within them and you say to them is a resounding good morning in a high-pitched voice with lots of energy and lots of positivity, because they will feed off of it. They will know that it is right to be high energy and have a good positive mindset. And I do that every day, and we should all do that, not just with our children, but with people we see. We can walk into an office conference room and we can go in. Here's another metaphor that I use. We can go in there and greet people with a resounding hello, how are you? What's the intent of the meeting, with high energy and high positivity, or with a high mood. Or we can go in there and be like, hi, how are you? How's your day? What are we doing? It's like the going to a basketball game and being involved or hearing how they announce the home team versus the away team. And I was raised in Boston, and I'll use the Boston Celtics for one. When you're at the Boston Garden, they will say, and folks, here are your Boston Celtics. And the crowd goes crazy, and the announcer goes loud, and the volume is high. And when they announce the away team, he usually covers the mic, and they say, and here's the Chicago Bulls. And he announces it with a much lower energy level. And that's how we should greet our children and our people in our lives, and want that for ourselves, is to greet them and be with them on a high level and high energy, because that's what we deserve. Everything is contagious. Bad moods are contagious. Anger is contagious. We can get triggered by them. And like I've said before, misery loves company, but so does being positive. It is something we all need. So I'm going to leave you here today. And what we need to do to step out of the loop is that we need to step ourselves onto firm ground. And so move, not perfectly, not when you're ready, not because the middle or the stuck or the loop will wait, and it will spin. Time will go by. Everything will happen, but your life won't wait. Time won't wait. So I'm going to leave you today with things to think about. It's about you and what you need and what you want, and you deserve it. So find yourself in a place where you feel vulnerable enough, safe enough, and secure enough within yourself to have self-trust and to ask for those things. And I'll see you next time. And until then, keep chasing purpose. Thanks very much for coming. See you next week.